Hi guys, welcome to another Food for Thought Friday. Um, I'm going to be having a little bit of fun with you guys just in a little while. Just to say, I'm in my basement actually just now. Um, frost got, we had a really few bad days of frost. It was literally, in southern Ontario we have the frost, everybody gets the first frost dates. It was like 3 days after the first frost date that's written down, and it's gone like -4, and it killed my tomato plants. So what I'm going to do, somebody actually told me that I'm going to be hanging up, that they've hung up their tomato plants in their basement from their vine. Obviously, these are going to get picked off. Actually, these ones are cracked, so I'm actually going to give these to Gordon. They're rotten, starting to rot, so he can get them for seeds because these are really good tomato plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang them up in the basement and just let these ripen on the vine. And it's a little bit of another one of these experiments I'm going to try and do. So before I get into my food for thought, this is what I'm going to do. So I've got lots and lots of them, even from tiny my little great ones to my some other plants. So I've got plenty of them to hang up. These were ripening. Ooh, get back down. These were ripening. I've had tomatoes, unbelievable tomato plants this year. So I was really pleased with these. So my food for thought Friday is a bit of fun. I think Gordon's done one before on our Facebook, and if I grab it, it's actually one of these. I'm actually going to put the picture on instead of our logo. It's one of these. What would you choose? What 4 items would you choose if you were stranded on a desert island? Well, not desert island. You are stranded on a deserted island, and you can only choose 4 of the following. So I'm going to put up the picture now for about 10 seconds. Obviously, you can keep going back to it and think, but what would you choose and why? I'll get back to you with my thoughts. Okie dokie. Right, this came up. We were out for dinner, and I heard my phone go bing bong type thing, and I'd seen that somebody had actually posted one of these sort of fun things on a forum that I was on. Me, I think it's pretty obvious. There's a couple of ones that are going, would I? So it became a discussion around it with the family, because I try and make sure that everything that I'm learning and everything we're talking about, the prepping, or especially with Rochelle, my wife, the possibility of World War III, all that kind of stuff. It's something that we discuss. We're not. It's not going to be I'm in charge of everything. I don't believe in that. But so this came up. My oldest son, who's 13, he's in Army Cadets. But he came up with he'd take the knife, he'd take a mirror because he thought signaling was important because he'd like to be rescued. I get the idea. Me, I'm looking at, it's really strange. I'm looking at more long term stuff. He's looking at short term. I want to get off. I'm stranded, but I want to get off, so I want to signal. So he got that. He got a tarp, and he took the first aid kit. I don't know why he took the first aid kit, because he hasn't done a first aid course. So I wasn't quite sure about that one. But hey, a first aid kit is great. Cuts, scrapes, bruises, bump, bangs, all that kind of stuff. Great first aid kit. My wife, she's a retired paramedic, so she's a first responder. So her idea was the tarp, pot, knife, and first aid kit. She actually knows how to use everything in the first aid kit properly. So, and she knows how to, she actually, my son recently was in hospital for 3 days. He smashed his elbow. This bone here, he smashed this bone, but the elbow here, the 2 knobbly bits here, I don't know what they're called. but he fell. He was skateboarding and he smashed his elbow, and those two knobbly bits were smashed off. They had to be secured. He's got a scar from basically sort of here to here. 5-hour surgery, about 16 pins, plates, and all that kind of stuff to put it all back together again. Plus a green stick break right up the middle of it. But she was first on the scene, knew what to do, got into hospital. So that's her choice. My choice, and I'm going to tell you why. And they're pretty, to me, they're obvious, but but I was going long term rather than short term. Knife, it's pretty obvious. It's one of the hardest things. You virtually can never replace it or recreate it in the wild. I know that there are people out there, you can chip rocks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it works. I've got rock that's extremely sharp. So yeah, you can do it, but if you're going to take a knife, you're going to take a knife. A pot, cooking, especially disinfecting of water, which is number one on the list. There was a tent and there was a tarp. It did not state what size of tent, and it did not state what size of tarp. If it's a deserted island, depends on, and it's one of those, depends on where it is in the world. I first off chose the tent because depending on where it is in the world, there's chances of really nasty diseases transferred by mosquitoes and stuff like that. So a tent is a complete enclosure that you're going to keep bugs and stuff away. I haven't actually used a tent apart from going camping with my family, and we've used our big tent. I've never used a tent in like 5 years. So in Canada, I was not overly worried about mosquitoes and flies and all that kind of nasties. I just use a tarp and a hammock. That's what I've used for like 5 years. But I decided to go for the tent because it's an complete enclosed. Nothing can get you from the ground. No mice, no rats, no all that kind of nasties in an area that I don't know. As I said, depending on where you are in the world. If I'm on an island in Canada or United States, I'll probably use a tarp, because a tarp is probably more useful for, depending on how big it is. If it's an 8x8, if it's pouring with rain, you can still shape it that you can actually shape it so that it's going to rain is going to run off into the pot. So depending on where, that's my shelter would have been depending on where I was in the world, whether it's going to be a tarp or the tent. And my last one was rope, because again, I have the experience to make rope, string, cordage, but not in the quantity that you would probably need out in the wild, and not in the quality that you probably need out in the wild. So that's why I went for that. But go back. I'm going to put the picture on after this part again, so you can go either back or stay where you are, and then let's have a bit of fun. Let's have a bit of a discussion. Why? It's not just these are the things that I would pick. Why? So, bit of fun. See you in a bit. Thanks very much for your support, guys. Bye for now.